Penny Green joins us now for perspective on Myanmar's election and what it means for Aung San Suu Kyi. Penny Green is a Professor of Law and Globalisation at Queen Mary University of London. Penny, thanks so much for being with us.
Pleasure.
Now, some say this election, many actually say this election is stirring up anti-Muslim fears. We know Rohingya Muslims have been persecuted there for years. Many say it's become much worse now. Just how bad is it?
Well, I think the situation in Rakhine State is the northwestern state, most northwestern state in Myanmar, and it's where the 1.1 million Rohingya live. The conditions for the Rohingya at the moment are truly appalling. They live in very squalid internment camps, in a ghetto, and in an area of northern Rakhine State, which is effectively a black hole, hidden from international view.
And in a very powerful op-ed, you wrote that this could be a genocide of the Rohingya people.
Yes, my team and I at Queen Mary have conducted 18 months research into the question of whether or not what we're witnessing inside Myanmar is indeed a genocide against the Rohingya population. And our evidence is, I think, utterly compelling that there is in fact a genocide taking place against the Rohingya Muslim minority inside Rakhine State. And I think, if I may, explain why that's the case. I think first of all, we have to appreciate that genocide is a process. And the Rohingya have suffered from decades of stigmatization and dehumanization strategies on the part of both Rakhine nationalists and the state. They were denied citizenship in 1982, and they have been utterly disenfranchised. Now, that stigmatization and dehumanization moved from the verbal to a physical form of violence, particularly in 2012, though violence has existed against the Rohingya prior to that period. And in 2012, we witnessed a number of massacres against the Rohingya. Over 200 Rohingya were killed. Their homes were destroyed in Sittwe, the capital. And they were then, if you like, herded, pushed into what is now an internment camp complex. And inside that internment camp complex, the Rohingya are now experiencing what we call the fourth stage of genocide, systematic weakening.
And Penny, in this a very powerful opinion piece you wrote in The Independent, you said that Aung San Suu Kyi is complicit in their suffering. Explain why.
Well, I think Aung San Suu Kyi held a tremendous amount of moral and political credibility inside Burma, that she was a voice listened to by human rights activists, by civil society inside the country. Now, she has remained absolutely silent on this question. In fact, she was in Rakhine State a week or so ago. She didn't speak to a single Rohingya. She didn't visit the camps. She didn't enter the Ongmingala ghetto inside Sittwe. And she has basically said that this is a question that she's not prepared to address, that once she introduces, if the NLD assume power, they will address questions of law and order. But I'm afraid that if a genocide is taking place in your country and you are standing as a key representative on the basis of a human rights platform, it's unconscionable not to address the question of the persecution of the Rohingya.
And Penny, these elections are being hailed the most free and fair in Myanmar, but for the first time the Rohingya people can't contest seats in Parliament. One Rohingya MP, barred from seeking another term, said, and I quote, "This election is poised to institutionalise and entrench the long-standing persecution of minorities." What are your thoughts?
Well, that's right. I mean, I don't think we can possibly call these elections free and fair when 1.1 million of the population has been excluded, disenfranchised, unable to vote. And the NLD, coming back to Aung San Suu Kyi's party, refused to stand a single Muslim candidate. So this is a problem that affects not only the Rohingya, but Muslim people more generally inside Myanmar, and they're a very significant minority in the country. So to talk about a free and fair election when 1.1 million people are suffering a genocide and those people are denied a voice inside the country, are denied a political voice, I think it's rather absurd to talk about a free and fair election.
So it's a very good point. Penny Green, we really appreciate your perspective on all of this. Thanks so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.